Greetings of peace, or otherwise known as Assalamu alaikum. My name is Azza Karam, and I serve an organization called Religions for Peace, which is like the United Nations of religious institutions and faith communities. The United Nations is governments. Religions for Peace is all the world's religious institutions and representatives of faith communities. With the largest networks of interfaith or multi-faith women and youth, Religions for Peace has been serving for 50 years to bring together religious leaders and their institutions and their faith communities in order to serve together. The idea is really very simple and very relevant to your conversation today, because faith is the very principle, stimulator, realizer, possibility for art, for culture, for expression of self and others. Faith is the essence of the music, the artistry, the poetry, every form of art that we know. The way we look at life, the way we understand and live our lives is very much informed by what we believe in. Faith is not only about God. Faith is a belief. And our belief systems are very different, and that's okay. The most important thing is that what we believe can inform being able to live together in peace. And that's why art, as inspired by faith, as faith inspires everything, that's why art matters. That's why peace is not possible without art, without culture, without the very threads which connect us to one another and give us a sense of that which is valuable and that which is meaningful. Conflicts happen when we stop communicating with one another as individuals, as carers, as nurturers, as human beings. When we stop communicating, we stop living together. We begin to live in isolation of one another. And when we do that, hatred spreads, misinformation, misunderstanding spreads. As I see you and relate to you, it is impossible not to see me. As I try to relate to you, it is sometimes difficult not to hear me. Art is the way that we reach to connect with one another, even in the absence of our personhood, our presence in person. Our art is the means of communicating and connecting to one another. Faith inspires all that ability to see, to listen, to hear, or not. And therefore, it's extremely important that we work to realize that which is faithful, therefore meaningful, in the realms of art, for the truth and the realization of peace. We were created very different. Regardless of who we think created us or what we think created us, the truth is we are created very, very different. Not so that we can fight with one another, not so that we can live in constant conflict with one another. Not even our earth can sustain constant conflict. We were created different so that we may learn how to live together better. And art is often the expression of that. And faith is often the instigator of that. Let us see how it is that we can make our art faithful to the cause of peace. Women have a remarkable ability to do this, not because we're necessarily smarter, but because we are created to understand what it is to give birth and life, to nurture and to sustain. Men are created to do so as well. But let's just say women have a special role in being able to exercise and appreciate and understand what it is to give life. And it's because of this that I think women of faith have a remarkably important role to play in the art of peace and making peace and living peacefully. I am one of the fortunate people in this world who's able to love, to admire the women who are speaking with you here today. I'm sorry I could not be with you. but I am there in spirit, and I am looking forward to learning and to being instructed how to love further through art, how to make peace through art. This, I think, is the most beautiful lesson that we can take with us to our graves. But before we go to the graves, let us learn how to live this lesson and manifest it as best as possible. In faithful and loving admiration to each and all of you, I wish you a very constructive discussion, and I look forward to looking at the recordings and learning. Thank you for having me.